What people sometimes don't understand is the situation depends. It depends in life and it depends in the market, right? So check this out. A few months ago, there was a situation to where when I was first finding out that my mom wasn't taking her medicine for a few months, I talked about it in a previous YouTube video. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I went to my mom's house because my sister has lived with my mom, for the last few years, right? She basically was the caretaker. My sister, I have two kid sisters. One's 2 years under me, the other one's 4 years under me, right? I don't talk to the youngest sister because of all the shit that happened in real estate, but I talk to the middle child, the one right under me, my kid sister, right? And with that being said, my mom, she going to work as normal. My sister, she tells me the weekend before that something is different. But she can't put her finger on it, so she calls me to let me know that something is off because Aubrey had just started going back over there. So you only gotta tell me one time. I already know the situation. I've seen it the last few years. I grew up in it. Who the fuck is you? Who is you today? So before my mom get home from work, I intervene. I call her because if my sister thinks something off, she said, I don't think she take her medicine. Let me call her and ask her if she's taking it. I call her, ask my mom, so what's going on? Are you taking it or are you not? Because we only get my financial support if you taking it. I'm not supporting no other shit. I'm not supporting the bullshit. I'm not. Because you don't get to live freely in life and lose your fucking mind. I would rather you work your ass off and have to be competent and poor than to freely lose your mind and travel the fucking US like you just fucking did on my dime. Because I didn't find out in time that shit was wrong, right? So basically, she wasn't taking her medicine. And this was back when Aubrey's dad was living here for a few months. He's staying here for a few months. He at work, but he not fucking acting right. Whatever, he at work. He stayed here for a few months. That's not my nigga. I was doing him a favor. This motherfucker was gonna work. I had no issue with that. But that day specifically, of course, I homeschool. I got Aubrey all the time. My in-laws and my sister, they'll sometimes have her on the weekends because my sister just got her own place. My in-laws, obviously, they got their own place. So on my way, I'm trying to intercept my mom going home because my sister stays there. And at this point, I realized she's not taking her medicine. And I didn't fucking irritated her by calling out basically that she not taking it because she thinking she can fool me, but she can't fool me. I know what is going on because it's just little small shit that she would do. It's just a matter of paying attention to certain patterns is why I'm great at pattern recognition, right? So it's like in the patterns of her, and when she would do something different, I can tell, right, that's off. So I say it depends because in that situation, I had to make an executive decision on whether or not I was going to leave my daughter home or bring her along. Yes, her dad was at work, but this motherfucker, if you know me, this motherfucker don't act right. Motherfucker a crackhead, not in real life, but he just a crackhead because he just don't, nigga just don't act like he not a crackhead. So he a crackhead till he act like he fucking not. I call his parents, me and his parents, we got a great relationship. They've been in Aubrey's life since she was born. Since the day she was born, they've been in her life every week, every month, every year. Consistency all around, supportive in-laws. I call my mom-in-law. I'll let her know the situation. Aubrey, she 8. She could stay home by herself, but it's not a preference that anyone wants. It's not one that I would want either. But then I'm explaining the situation on my mom is not taking her medicine. We just found out. My sister, my kid sister, stays there. But keep in mind, adults, technically, we're not in charge of our siblings. Our siblings are not our responsibility. I have been taking care of my sisters as a mom since I was 18. But before 18, since growing up, I remember we lived in Dallas. I moved here when I was 10. I just said in the last video, moved here when I was 10 years old. And we lived in Dallas at the time. And if you know Northwest Highway, we crossed that big ass highway. I'm in like fourth or fifth grade, and my sister, she in like third or fourth grade. we in Girl Scouts, we decide we not get on the bus. We want the Easter baskets that they giving out because we kids, we want some free shit. And we skip the bus and we don't tell our mom, we don't tell the school teachers that we're not supposed to be walking, but I'm competent enough at 10 years old to find my way all the way to fuck home, even though it was a long ass journey. It took us fucking hours to get home, but I made sure we got home because I'm the oldest of three. I'm the oldest child. I made sure it's taken care of. So in that situation, my in-laws didn't understand on they're saying it's not my responsibility to take care of my sister, but it is because I'm her sister, but I'm her mom, right? So you, like I said, like people coming to me and trading and they be thinking I just have this, I'm not going for it. I'm not going for it in real motherfucking life either. Because my in-laws, everything, anybody, I take everything people say with a grain of salt because you don't know the situation. You don't know the thought process. You don't know the decisions I had to make to get to the answer that I made, right? So, although they son live here, this motherfucker not acting right. He not here at the time. He cannot pick up the phone, and that's the situation I got to get to right now. They telling me not to leave Aubrey home alone, but if I got to make a decision on trying to handle somebody that has been threatened to stab everybody before, and I gotta mediate that. What makes you think I'm gonna bring my 8-year-old when I have been in this situation multiple fucking times, and I know if I gotta make a decision on putting hands on people, then I don't need this child to be there for it because that's trauma added into her life. But it's like this decision, the executive decision I had to make in that moment a few months ago is the same way, the same approach I have for the market on when people ask me certain things. It depends, like on entries. How I enter, it depends on what the market is giving me because I am somebody that has to see how the market is setting up for it to make sense. I used to use pending orders a lot, but what pending orders would do back in the day because I wasn't sure how to trade completely, I was self-taught, the pending orders would activate and it would be going the wrong fucking way. So naturally, over the years, I just decided and the approach that I take is I need to see what the market is doing and how it's reacting to a certain place in order to make a decision. Just like in real life. Trading is a business. Business is ministry. Ministry is 24/7. Trading mindset is 24/7. The approach is 24/7. The mindset in business and approach is 24/7. And ministry is 24/7. Everything in this world relates to each other. So the hard decisions I have to make in the market is nothing more than the hard decisions I have to make on whether or not I understand that you disagree about leaving this 8-year-old home alone. But I don't give a fuck in this moment because you don't understand but the choices that I had to choose between to make. Bring her into a hostile environment that is unfamiliar to her, knowing I gotta help my sister get out of that place and possibly mediate and we had the cops come in everything and deal with that situation. I'm telling you, just so you're aware that if you do not hear from me in an hour, to check on Aubrey and call her in case something happened. Because if I gotta put hands on her, because she violent sometimes, then then it's like what you want me to do. But either way, I have to get over there because my kid's sister, they both kids to me. My sister, she an adult, but she a kid to me. And this is my kid. I'm not gonna come and put my kid in harm's way, and I'm not finna go leave this kid by herself to handle the situation. So people don't understand the decisions you have to choose between until the choice is fucking made, until the answer is there, and then they want to agree and disagree. And by that time, it don't fucking matter. It don't matter because at the end of the day, if I have a result of being right consistently, it does not matter at that point in time how many times this might be wrong or this might be wrong or this might be wrong because the summary of all the decisions I've made in life led to I'm a fucking multimillionaire and this was where I started from in life and can't nobody motherfucking change that. Everybody got an opinion, but only some of them matter. And in that case and standpoint, on it depends is always going to be the answer in the market because yes, it's always a buy and it's a sell, but it depends on what time of day. It depends on where you are. It depends on the bias. It depends on the volatility. And in that case and standpoint, if you want to come watch Aubrey while I'll deal with this situation, you are more than welcome to go do that. But if you are not, I'm telling you the decision I made, and this is what you're gonna have to do because I don't have time to go back and forth with a motherfucker that don't completely understand what's going on because they didn't grow up with that shit. That's me in person, online, in business, in faith and everything, right? So you got to understand and have a bigger why as to why you're trying to pursue this because fucking trading is hard. It's hard, but it's the best thing that's ever happened to me because I couldn't fucking live life no other way without it. I can't even imagine it because I've been doing it longer than I've worked a job ever. I started working when I was like 15, 16, but even as a kid, I had that work ethic on the only answer is win. The only answer to me is win. Win as in WIN, because WHEN, we do not know, and I'm okay with not knowing because my entire fucking life I never fucking knew. So coming into the market not knowing shit, but knowing that this setup typically gives me this result, all right, boom, this easy because everything else in my life in the past was hard. The only thing that made it easy is the money. It's just less problems. Money's gonna solve 99% of your problems. But the 1% it can't change is your fucking mindset. That's something that you gotta consciously be aware of at all times, or it's not going to work. So my answer is always gonna be it depends. Because it depends on what is going on in that moment in time even though it's a buy and a sell. But because I believe in timing the market and also having time in the market, my depends is going to get the best of both worlds. And when it doesn't, it's still a win because my depends is touching both sides but in the market, but in life, when I got to make an executive decision and I understand that you don't have experience on certain situations, that's why I'm not a person that's going to argue with nobody. You have to outresult me to show me there's something different, a better way. And if you cannot, I'm going to decide that because of the results, this is the right answer because I understand that the situation is going to involve cops and I might have to mediate, might have to dodge a knife or something because my mom don't recognize me. Why the fuck would I bring a child into that? And why the fuck would I leave a child over there just because it's not particularly what you would want to happen? And my in-laws, they're great, but like I said, people, they try to do the best that they can with what they know. And if you don't know about a certain situation, it's going to be hard for you to make a judgment call on something. That's why I never gave a fuck what people say in the market because most people don't fucking know. Most people ain't never put them 10,000 hours in. I'm way fucking past that. I'm way past that. That's it.